it's Seth, your Mild Mannered Mage, and we are back with another episode of Breaking Boxes. And in this episode, we are still traveling in the space between the planes with Edge of Eternities. So I have an unopened play booster box of Edge of Eternities that has just been sitting on my desk, burning a hole, ready to be opened. I've done the pre-release thing. We went through and we've had a pretty good bundle box opening. And in that bundle box, I've still got them sitting here on my desk. We had an Endstone, an Elegy Alkalite, a breeding pool. So a lot of really good things to kind of go through and check out that opening. If I can, I'll see if I can't link the video right over here for you. But, again, check out that video and see all the other fun stuff that we pulled from that box opening. Also got a really cool dice out of it, and lots of foil lands. But now we've got the big boy. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get a collector booster box. Those have been going like hotcakes for all of the land reprints because everybody wants to grab a reprinted Ancient Tomb. And these shock lands, oh my god, do they look beautiful. But we're going to see what we can spin the wheel and hit with this play booster box. So let's get in it to win it and see what we can get out of here. Alright. So we'll see. I'm thinking this is going to be also the new, where there's less packs in here, I think. Don't really like that because these are expensive enough as it is. Alright, let's see how many packs we got here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 packs. 3 stacks of 10, so that's 30 packs. So not as much as we would like to see in a booster box. They've recently cut those down. Used to be 36. But, times they are a-changing. So we still want to see lots of good things. We got those planet lands, lots of new spacecraft. We've got Tezzeret sitting on his little spaceship throne. Lots of fun cards. We got all those land reprints. 14 cards in a pack. We've got 30 packs. That's what? 3 times 14, that's 30, 42, 420 cards for us to go through. And we're going to get into it right after this break. And we are back with our episode of Breaking Boxes, Edge of Eternities Play Booster Box. We've got our first stack of 10 booster packs. We've got our second 2 waiting in the wings. Let's get in it with pack number 1. And see what we can get. I also like that these are in the right order with the commons at the front. Okay, Harmonious Grove Strider, Honored Knight Captain, Remnant Elemental. Right into a land, we've got the Cathedral of War. Comes in tapped, exalted. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And you can tap it to add a colorless mana. That is not in foil, but that is still a pretty nice land. This would go good in your Voltron decks, because usually it's just one big creature that is swinging for the fences. Oh, and then we are in a 2 rare pack here with Anacausal Vestige. 6 mana for an Eldrazi. When this creature leaves the battlefield, draw a card. Then you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. And it does have Warp 4. So you can pay 4 to put it onto the battlefield from your hand, and then exile it at the next end step, and then you can cast it for more mana later. So you can cast it for 4 mana, get the then it leaves on the turn that you cast it for the warp cost. You get the effect, and then you can recast it later. I really like that card. I played it in my pre-release and got some good value out of it. Emergency Eject is our foil, and then we've got a Fancy Mountain. Put that right there. And then a Lander token. So good off the bat. 2 rare pack. That's what we like to see to start us off. Get through these commons. Caesarian Dirgecraft, Hemosymbic Might, All Fates Stalker, into a Lumen-class frigate. Saw lots of these during pre-release. So this is a spacecraft, white and 1. So it has station. Tap another creature to put charge counters equal to the power of this space onto this equal to its power. You can only station as a sorcery, and then when it has 12 plus station counters, it becomes a creature. So at two plus station counters, other creatures get +1/+1, and then at 12 plus, it is a flying lifelink 3/5. So that's pretty good. Get that out on turn 2, and then start stationing it right away. One nice thing that I realized about Station is because Station doesn't have the tap ability, you can use your summon sick creatures to station. Close Encounters as our foil, and then another mountain and another lander. Pack number 3. Through the commons to a Seed Ship Broodtender, the Sculpting Blast, Territorial Buntar, Virulent Silencer, into Memnon the Right Hand, 2 blue and 3 for a legendary Jellyfish Advisor. Flying 3/4, you can look at the top card of your library at any time. You can cast artifact spells from the top of your library, and your artifacts have tap, add a blue, spend it to cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. So you can use that to cast those artifacts from the top of your library, or cast them from exile if you need to. And then a Swarm Color, and then an Island and a Lander. This is pack number 4. I feel like we're hitting some good stuff we haven't seen yet. Alright. Servandum the Lucent, the Code Cracker Hound, Edge Rover, and a Sledge class Seed Ship. So green and 2, station again. Whenever this spacecraft attacks and it becomes a creature at 7 plus counters, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That's pretty nice. So again, get this out early, start getting those station counters on it, and then when it attacks, start just dropping creatures. Start dropping some bombs on people. Get that Blightsteel out early. Get some Eldrazi out early. this is going to be causing some problems later. I can just about assure you of that. And then a Pinnacle Star Cage, 2 white and 1. When it enters, exile all artifacts and creatures, mana value 2 or less. So that's going to get your dorks and your rocks. And then you can pay 8 mana to exile each card that's exiled with this, and then you make a 2/2 robot for each card exiled with it. So we saw this in our bundle box. I think that's kind of a fun mana wiper. And there's the robot that makes. Another pack. And we are just flying right through these. Cavron Harrier. Mouth of the Storm. Halea Ascendant Cadet. Fell Grav Ship into a Pinnacle Emissary. Blue, red, and 1. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless drawn artifact creature token with flying, and this token can only block creatures with flying, and then you can warp it out for 1 red mana. So you can warp it out, cast a bunch of warp it out for 1, cast a bunch of artifact spells, get the effect, then it goes away, and then recast it later. So I think that's that could be a problem. So you could build your board up really nicely with this card. Lux Knight Breacher, and then oh, look at that beautiful foil swamp. And then another robot, and there's a sliver token. Pack number 6. Seed Ship Impact, Uthros Scan Ship, Tragic Trajectory, Weft Stalker Ardent, into a Might Form Harmonizer. 2 green and 2 for an Insect Druid. Whenever a land you control enters, double the power of target creature you control until end of turn. And you can warp it out for 3 mana, and it's a 4/4. I mean, this is never a bad idea. You know, put this in like a landfall deck and start doubling up your power of a bunch of powerful trample creatures. Yeah, I mean, this could be a great way to, you dump a bunch of, if you've got ways to play multiple lands, you just really, I mean, you could quadruple the power of a creature and just go for broke on somebody. All right. Pack number 7. All right, we've got an Honor, Galvanizing Sol Ship, Uthros Psionist, Monoist Circuit Feeder into a Bioengineered Future. 2 green and 1. When this enchantment enters, create a lander token, and then each creature you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it for each land that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. So drop a bunch of lands, play a creature, they get a bunch of 1/1 counters on it, and then if you've got counter doublers and whatnot, then that's just going to get out of control. And then a Seed Shipped Impact, and then another beautiful island and a lander token. Pack number 8. Dubious Delicacy, Bygone Colossus, Full Bore, Mechan Navigator, into another Elegy Alkalite. This is kind of a fun card. Life linking 2 black and 2 for a 4/4 human cleric. Whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card and lose a life. In the beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped this turn, create a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. So if you're doing a lot of warping, exiling effects, so on and so forth, then this would, create you a nice little army of robots. Then we've got a command bridge. Enters tapped. When this land enters, sacrifice it unless you tap an untapped permanent you control, and it taps for 1 mana of any color, and a swamp and a lander. Pack number 9. Glacier Godmaw, Biomech Engineer, Dual Sun Technique, Systems Override into the Rock Lobster. It's not the lobster. Ragast Death Gastronaut. Artifacts you control are foods in addition to their other types, and they have pay 2, sack it, and you gain 3 life. Pay 1 to sack a food, and Ragast deals 3 damage to each opponent. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, untap Ragast. So if you sack an artifact, and then pay 1 to sack another food to deal 3 damage, you could do that at least once each turn. You just have to have at least 3 mana each turn to do that. And you can do that on every player's turn. And then the Germinating Worm. And then the last pack for this stack of 10. Dawn Strike Vanguard, Molecular Modifier, Scour for Scrap, into a Godless Shrine. So a nice hit on a Shockland. Not one of the full arts, but we still like a good Shockland. Comes in tapped, or you can pay 2 life, and it comes in untapped. And it is searchable because it says plains or swamp on it for the land type. So that's a fantastic hit. Oh, and then we've got Astrali Reclaimer, 2 white and 3. When this creature enters, return target non-creature, non-land permanent card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of mana you spent to cast this creature. So you can warp it for 3, bring back a 3, or you pay the 5 and you get a 5. That's pretty awesome. And then a Dark Endurance. And then a Swamp and a Robot. So pretty good so far. I would say the best thing that we've pulled so far has got to be that Godless Shrine. I think is probably going to be the top contender so far. So that is the first stack of 10 Magic, Edge of Eternity, Magic the Gathering Play Booster packs. Up next, we will have 10 more. We'll go through the full 30 in this video. So we've got our second stack of 10 ready to go. So when we get back from the break, 10 more Play Booster packs. Hang tight, and we'll be right back. And we are back with the next part of Edge of Eternities with our second set of 10 booster packs. I'm Seth, your Mild Mannered Mage, and we are still looking for a couple of key cards. We're looking for a Tezzeret. We're still looking for some of those fun lands, and we still got 20 packs to go, so let's get in it to win it. Starting with, I guess this would be really pack number 11. toss that off to the side and get into these commons. And we've got Melt Strider's Resolve, Station Monitor, Faller's Faithful, and then Helaya Guided by Light. White and 2 for a human soldier. Whenever whenever Helaya or another creature or artifact you control enters, so creature or artifact, you gain 1 life. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card if you've gained 3 or more life this turn. So that's pretty good for your life gain decks. So let's turn that life gain into some card draw. And then you can warp Helaya out for 1. So you could warp out for 1, gain a life off of Helaya entering, play some other low drop things, gain some more life, draw a card, they go into exile, and then play it again later on. I like that. Again, turning your life gain deck into a little bit of a draw engine, which I think life gain really needs. Pack number 12. Let's get through all of our common goods. Blade of the Swarm. Straighten these up a little bit. Dauntless Scrapbot. Sammy Ship's Engineer. Pull through the Weft into a Biotech Specialist. Red and green for an insect scientist. When this creature enters, create a lander. And whenever you sack an artifact, this creature deals 2 damage. So just a way for you to turn sacking artifacts into some damage. It's almost kind of like a Marionette Master, but for red and green. The Sculpting Blast into an island and a token. Pack number 13. Again, still looking for some of those big hits. Gigastorm Titan, Lash Whip Predator, Void Forged Titan, Cut Propulsion, and Beyond the Quiet. 2 white and 3 exile all creatures and spacecraft. So that's a nice little board wipe for 5, and we're not just like destroying them, we're getting them out permanently. So that's pretty nice. And then Might Form Harmonizer, this time in foil, so being able to double the power of target creature whenever a land enters the battlefield. Alright. I think this is pack number 14. Reroute Systems, Emudian Terrabotanist, Ruinous Rampage into, here's another one of those lands. Stirring Wildwood enters tapped, taps for a green or a white, and then you can pay 3 to turn it into a 3/4 green and white elemental creature with the reach. Oh, and then here is our first planet land, and our first, I believe this is our first mythic for this box. Caravan Memorial World comes in tapped, taps for a red, and then has station, and then at 12 station counters, you can pay a red and 1 to tap it to sack a land to create a colorless robot artifact creature token. Then creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. Not the most powerful planet that I have seen, but I think, it probably does have its uses, especially in red and green. You probably have some recursion for your lands, especially if you're going to be sacking them. So there's probably some things that you can do to abuse that. So let's move into our next pack. Getting through all of our commons here. Alright. Scourge for Eternity. Starfield Shepherd. Memorial Team Lead. Seed Ship Agarian. And then another mythic. So 2 mythics back to back. The Dawnsire's Sunstar Dreadnought. So this is a legendary artifact spacecraft. At 10 counters, or at 10 station counters, whenever you attack, Dawnsire deals 100 damage up to one target creature or planeswalker. So that's not excessive at all. And then at 20 plus counters, it has flying. Oh, okay, so it does not fly. Okay, so it becomes... Okay, so at 10 plus when you attack, so... it's not a creature, it's a creature at 20 plus counters and it has flying, but you can still get this attack trigger at 10 plus. That's ridiculous for 5 mana. That's pretty nice. I like that. And again, you play some big boys, get that out early, start getting some counters on it, and then, you know, especially if you've got an opponent with a big beefy creature that you just need to get rid of, that's going to be your cannon, so to speak, to get rid of it. Arming those photon torpedoes. Cerebral Download. Tapestry Warden. Timeline Kohler. Dual Sun Adepts into a synthesizer lab ship. Another spacecraft for 1 blue mana. At 2 counters at the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 other target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base and power 2/2 and gains flying until end of turn. And then 9 counters, this is a flying Vigi 4/4 artifact creature. Okay, so this lets your other non-artifacts become artifact creatures. And then Memnon Utherus Exile is our foil. And then a plains and a token. Into the next pack. Oh, oops. Got ahead of myself. Lightless Evangel, Sunstar Expansionist, Atomic Microsizer, Atmospheric Greenhouse, and then a Secluded Starforge. So this is a regular land, no special treatment on it. So taps for colorless mana. Pay 2 to tap it. To tap X target untapped artifacts you control. Target creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn. Activate as a sorcery. And then you can pay 5 to make a 2/2 colorless robot artifact creature token. So this is a great way to boost up one of your creatures. Give it a little extra oomph, especially if it's got trample. Give you a little extra damage to get through to hopefully win you the game. And then a mental modulation. And then a forest. Pack number 18. See what we got here. So I think we're doing good. We found 2 mythics so far. Ilvoy Infiltrator, Caesarean Voidborn, Rescue Skiff, Seed Ship Broodtender into a Moonlit Meditation. 1 blue and 2 enchant artifact or creature you control. The first time you would create 1 or more tokens each turn, you may instead create that many tokens that are copies of the enchanted permanent. Ooh, that could get dangerous. So let's say you're playing something where you're going to make X11 human soldier tokens, but instead you're going to make X, what's something big, crater hoof behemoths instead. That could get scary. That's kind of scary. I like it. I want to see what I can do with that. That's got some potential to be ruinous. Pack number 19. Get all the way through these commons. Debris Field Crusher, Momennon, Uthris Exile, Hyperblade, into a space-time anomaly. White, blue, and 2. Target player mills cards equal to your life total. Now, as a mill player, I have said many times that I actually cut my teeth learning Magic on mill. So that's the type of experience that I've had. I learned to play Magic playing a mill deck. So, take that as you will. So I appreciate a good mill card. This is a good mill card. I appreciate this card, especially in white with a lot of life gain. Yes, I will take this. Let's build a mill deck, please. Into an Arch Enemy's Charm, 3 black mana. Choose one, exile target creature or planeswalker. Return up to 1 or 2 target creatures and or planeswalker cards from your graveyard to your hand. And then put 2 1/1 counters on target creature you control. It gains the life links until end of turn. So I think that's kind of the opposite of the Archmage's Charm, which I think is 3 blue mana. So we have the Arch Enemy's Charm now. And pack number 20. Let's see what we got. Still would like to find a Tezzeret. All Fate Scroll, Litho Breaking, Wedge Light Rama, into a Lumbering Falls. So another one of these full art lands. Comes in taps for a green or a blue. Till end of turn, you can pay 4 mana, and it becomes a 3/3 green and blue elemental creature with the hexproof. That art is just beautiful. Oh, and then we also have, I think this is the creature that everybody's looking for. The Ice Till Explorer, 2 green and 2. You may play additional lands on each of your turns. You can play lands from your graveyard, and whenever a land you control enters, mill a card. Beautiful for an insect scout. This will probably go into my Necrobloom deck because I want all my lands in the graveyard. I want to play lots of lands, and I want to mill some cards. So this is perfect. Perfect for me. And then we've got Blade of the Swarm, and then a beautiful Forest card. And that is our second stack of 10 cards. So we've gone through 20 packs. That means that we just have 10 packs remaining in this play booster box of the Edge of Eternities. What are we still looking for? Well, we've already hit 2 mythics. Would love to hit some more mythics. Would love to still see a Tezzeret. We've only seen 2 planets. Would love to see. I have the black planet. We've seen the red planet. And we've seen, what was the other color planet? Wasn't there a planet? Oh, I've got the black planet. I've seen the red planet. Would love to see the white, the blue or the green planet. So that would be fantastic. So we still got 10 packs to go. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, the final 10 packs of this box of Edge of Eternities. We'll be right back. And we are back with this episode of Breaking Boxes. I'm Seth, your Mild Mannered Mage, and we are here with the final 10 packs of this play booster box of the Edge of Eternities. So, let's get cracking. Pack number 21. Oh, that one just kind of ripped right off. Okay, let's see what we got here. Still hunting mythics. Still looking for a couple more planets. Still looking for that Tezzeret, the Sculpting Blast, Close Encounter, Territorial Bruntar, Tragic Trajectory. And then here is another mythic, Tanuk, Steadfast Second. 2 red and 2 for a Kavu pilot. Other creatures you control have haste. Artifact cards and red creature cards in your hand have warp 3. So you can start warping things out for the 3 manas, and they all have the hastesses for a 3/5. And then we also have a Galactic Wayfarer in foil, and then a Swamp. Pack number 22. Alright, get through all of these commons. Vote out. Use Social Engineering, Mechan Assembler, Invasive Maneuvers into another spacecraft, Entropic Battlecruiser, black and 3 for, again, a spacecraft. Station, +1 counters. Whenever an opponent discards a card, they lose 3 life. And then at 8 counters, it becomes a 3/10, so it's got a big old butt on it. Flying Death Touch. Whenever this spacecraft attacks, each opponent discards a card. Each opponent who can't loses 3 life. So it forces the discard, making them lose 3 life. And then if they can't discard, they still lose the 3 life. And then Decode Transmissions. That's a common. And then a forced. That would go great in a just kind of a discarded base deck. Alright, Seam Rip, Roving Actuator, Broodguard Elite into, another Shockland this time. Breeding Pool, again, regular art, not going to turn it down though. So Breeding Pool is a forest island, comes in tapped, or you can pay the 2 life and it does come in untapped. So won't turn that down. Into a Coral of the Void. Black and 3, enchant creature you control. Whenever it attacks, put target creature card from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking. That's not scary at all. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice this aura unless a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped this turn. So you got to have some exile effects to kind of keep this enchantment around so that you can keep abusing that ability. And it sounds like you keep that creature under your control. It doesn't say anything about sacking it at the end of the turn. Not scary at all. All right. Through the commons into an Uthros Scan Ship, Seed Ship Impact, Weft Stalker Ardent into a weapons manufacturing. 1 red and 1 for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token artifact you control enters, make a colorless artifact token named Munitions with, when this token leaves the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to any target. So, okay, non-token artifact. So, get you some sack outlets. There's been lots of things about sacking artifacts. So those munitions tokens will start to deal damage using this weapons manufacture. So you can sack them to do other things, and then when the munitions leave, it also deals damage too. Okay, I see what they're doing with that. And this is pack number 25. Well, lots of commons. Okay. Monoist Sentry, Larval Scoutlander Ship, Emergency Eject, into a Sir Vondum Sunstar Exemplar for white and black. Vigimenace, whenever another creature you control dies or is put into exile, put a 1/1 counter on Sir Vondum, and then you gain 1 life. So kind of an opposite of a life gain deck. This is going to be a creature exile, creature sack. This will work nicely in an aristocrat style deck. When Sir Vondum dies or is put into exile, while its power is 4 or greater, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. I just thought of something. If you put Sir Vondum in like a token deck, and then pair Sir Vondum with Massacre Girl, so you get Sir Vondum out, and then you cast Master with a bunch of tokens out, and then you cast Massacre Girl, and then you can just beef him up and gain a lot of life, and then he would potentially survive the Massacre Girl cast. That would be, I think, particularly nasty. Alright, pack number 26. Interceptor Mechan, Tractor Beam, Sunstar Lightsmith, Hymn of the Fallen into a 0-point ballad for black and X for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures with toughness X or less. You lose X life. If X is 6 or more, return a creature card put into the graveyard this way to the battlefield under your control. So that could even be one of your opponent's creatures. I like it. Nothing like a board wipe that gives you an advantage at the end. Now, granted, you do have to pay life. That is a black spell thing to do. You do got to pay the life. But being able to get a nice creature out of that, either something from your board or somebody else's board, I'm down with it. Alright, Tanuk Memorial Ensign, Steel Swarm Operator, Vault Guard Trooper into a Scavenger Grounds. So this is a desert. Taps for a colorless mana, and then you can pay 2 to sack it to exile all graveyards. And again, we've got that beautiful spacey alt art to it. Not foil, but still. Love that art. And then we also get a Frenzy Bailiff, 2 green mana for a 3/2, can't be countered. Trampled Haste, creature spells you control can't be countered, and damage can't be prevented. Because green obviously needed the help. Oh, and this is a 3 rare pack. And then we've got a foil weapons manufacturing that we also just talked about. One nice thing about this box, I haven't seen a lot of repeats. Now, I've said that, and these last 3 packs are just going to be repeats. All right. Pack number 28. Let's get it. Let's get something good. Virulent Silencer. Dual Sun Technique. Glacier Godmaw. Biomech Engineer. And there's the Tezzeret. Full art. Not foil, but full art. Tezzeret, the Cruel Captain. 3 mana. Comes in with 4 loyalty counters. Whenever an artifact you control enters, put a loyalty counter on Tezzeret. For 0, untap target artifact or creature. If it's an artifact creature, put a 1/1 counter on it. -3, search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less. Reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. And then for -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3 1/1 counters on target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it becomes a 0/0 robot artifact creature token. So there we have it. The lone planeswalker from this set. And we found him. Pack number 29. Survey Mechan. Specimen Freighter. Melt Strider Eulogist. Scout for Surveyors. And then a Diadrine Synthesis Amalgam. White, green, and X for a construct. 0/1. Trample enters with a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the mana spent to cast it. So it's going to come in with at least 2. Whenever you attack, you may remove a 1/1 counter from each of 2 creatures you control. If you do, draw a card and create a 2/2 colorless robot creature token. That's kind of fun. Oh, and it's a legendary, so this could be your commander as well. And you can do a lot of fun things with tokens and counters in white and green. And we got a foil Tanuk and a swamp. And here it is. Last pack. Pack number 30. Oh. Got a stack of trash there. Got to figure out what to do with it. All right. For our final uncommons, we have a Rayblade Trooper, a Hemosymbic Mite, a Caesarian Dirgecraft, a Caveron Harrier, and then a Memorial Vault, red and 3 for an artifact. Tap to sacrifice another artifact. Hey, that could be those munitions. Exile the top X cards of your library, where X is 1 plus the mana value of the sacrificed artifact. You may play those cards this turn. That could also be good in my Prosper deck. Sack a treasure. Exile 1 card. I can play that card this turn. I like it. So lots of good utility for there, I think. And then our final foil is a Comet Crawler. And then we've got an island and another token. And there we have it. That is all 30 packs from our Edge of Eternities Play Booster Box. And we got some pretty good stuff in here. We got a Planet Land. We got a couple of Shock Lands. We did find a full art Tezzeret. So I'll be interested up in here. You'll be starting to see me posting up some values, the highest ranking. I'm going to guess that it's either going to be one of the Shocklands or maybe the Tezzeret. We'll see. Maybe the breeding pool. We'll go with the breeding pool. And then whatever the lowest value of the rares will be, along with the total box value of the mythics and rares versus what what I paid for the box. So you can kind of see whether or not this box was actually worth what we paid for. Now we are just looking at the mythic and rare value, not the overall value of the foil, not of the foils, but the commons and the uncommons. We really don't look at the foils unless they are a rare or a mythic. But so, what do y'all think? Is this box going to be worth it? We will find out here shortly. In the meantime, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Check out our other episodes of Breaking Boxes. Also, check out War Council, our deck building series. We'll be hopefully be getting up some new episodes of that coming soon. Also, be sure to check us out on the Instagrams, where I do post some updates of where I go to different events, attend pre-releases, drafting, and different other fun geeky things. You can check out Linktree posted in the comments below, or in the description below, where you can find links to all of the social media pages and everything. So in the meantime, I'm Seth, your mild-mannered mage, wishing everybody some happy magicking. We'll see you next time.